We, what you see, is it real? Just a shadow? Sight up. We're sitting in a dark cave from the moment of our birth, and Babylon him lights a fire for all that he is worth. He makes his puppets dance and fight. I'm cursed on a wall, but nothing's dirt. And the people watch the shadows, and they think the shadows real. They argue about the shapes and lines and how the shadows feel. But turn from the wall, my brother, and see the fire bright. Turn from the wall, my sister, and step into the light. The show is just a trickery, the shadow puppet play, to keep your eyes distracted from the coming of the day. When you see the puppeteer, you know the righteous way. The shadow of the politician, it looks so strong and tall. The shadow of the money man, it holds the world in thrall. The shadow of their empty fashion, it dances and it sways, and keeps the people occupied for all their living days. But the shadow has no substance, it has no heart or soul. It disappears completely when you make the fire whole. So turn from the wall, my brother, and see the fire bright. Turn from the wall, my sister, and step into the light. The show is just a trickery, a shadow puppet play, to keep your eyes distracted from the coming of the day. When you see the puppeteer, you'll know the righteous way. Your eyes might hurt a little when you first see Jaja's flame, but you will finally understand their wicked, foolish game. And when you see the truth, you have a duty to perform, to go and tell the others, and to keep their spirits warm. No more shadows, only the light that follows. Turn around, hear the sound of truth. Slow pressure, something I go break, Jah know. Babylon build him empire upon a floor of cold concrete. He paved the whole creation, make it look so trim and neat. He think him foundation strong, him think him wall is tall. He not see the little green shoot that's waiting for his fall. He look for armies at his gate, with banner and with sword. But the real revolution is a silent, patient word. It's the root pressure, working in the dark. A slow and steady power from a single righteous spark. And I need no, just a ceiling, I need no sudden sound. Just the will to keep on growing from the holy ground. Crack the whole foundation till it's all come tumbling down. boarded him a laughy die with my barefoot and my song. He say my kind of progress is just weak and never strong. He measure power by the gun and by the paper that he moved, and all the pretty shiny lights that this television told. He can't feel the vibration that is coming from below, the unstoppable vibration that will surely grow and grow. It's the root pressure working in the dark, a slow and steady power from a single righteous spark. And I need no sudden sound, just the will to keep on growing from the holy ground, and crack the whole foundation till it's all come tumbling down. So when you feel the weight above and think you cannot move, just remember that the deepest root has the most to prove. It's not a fight of speed, my friend, it's a fight of will and grace, to reclaim the living earth from this cold and wicked place. Slow pressure breaking the stone, we are not alone. The root is growing, the pressure's showing, it's all laying down. One rule, one ground, but you must reach for the sun. When we first planted this here love, the soil was fresh and new. We grew up side by side, so close the way the young trees do. Our branches started touching, our leaves became as one. We shared the same sweet morning rain and the same evening sun. It was an easy kind of love in a shelter from the heat, perfect, simple harmony, so innocent and sweet. But we are two trees in one ground, and each one needs the light. Sometimes my shadow falls on you and blocks your own true height, and sometimes your own branches grow and push my own aside. It is a silent, gentle struggle with nowhere left to hide. But our roots are tangled deep below, where love and trust reside. There are days a wicked wind blows, a wind of jealousy. It tries to make one tree believe the other can't be free. It whispers that to truly grow, you have to stand alone, and threatens this foundation that we have always known. And we must learn to bend and sway, and not to break and fall, and trust the roots will hold us firm and answer nature's call. 'Cause we are two trees in one ground, and each one needs the light. Sometimes my shadow falls on me and blocks your own true height, and sometimes your own branches grow and push my own aside. It is a silent, gentle struggle with nowhere left to hide. But our roots tangle deep below, where love and trust reside. So I will prune my selfish branch so you can see the sky, and you can shield my tender leaves when the sun gets too high. For this is not a battle for the space or for the sun. It's learning how two trees can grow and still be truly one, growing strong together through any weather. One ground, one love, sent from Jah above. Time to see for yourself, cider. From me was a little youth, they put them glasses on my face and said, this is how you see the world in this here time and place. One lens was made of envy and the other made of fear. It made my own dear brother seem like someone to stay clear. It made a line in the sand look like a wall of solid stone, and made me feel so terrified to ever walk alone. But I'm taking off these borrowed eyes, I'm throwing them away. I wanna see the sunrise with my own two eyes today. The colors are so different, the world is not so cold. A story of connection is waiting to unfold. Now that I'm seeing with my heart, more precious than pure gold. With their eyes I saw a stranger with a different kind of skin. With my eyes I see a family, and where do I begin? With their eyes I saw a threat in every different point of view. With my eyes I see a lesson and a perspective that is new. It tinted everything with doubt, with suspicion and with dread, to keep the people fighting for the foolishness that fed. I'm taking off the bonds, I'm not throwing things away. I wanna see the sunrise for all days today. The colors are so different, the world is not so cold. A story of connection is waiting to unfold. Now that I'm seeing with my heart, more precious than pure gold. So ask yourself the question when you look upon the land. Whose vision are you trusting? Whose purpose is at hand? The greatest liberation is a simple, honest sight. To see the world with your own soul in its own loving light. My own side, everything's alright. My own vision, a righteous mission. I see you and Jah in you. There is a rhythm. The down presser man, him love the noise, the siren and the shout. The bag of wire on the screen that fills your mind with doubt. He creates a loud confusion, a frantic empty sound, so you can't hear the heartbeat that is coming from ground. He wants to make you deaf and two-toed and you're dangerous soul. The one drop that is beating there to make you feel so whole. But I can hear a silent drum. It's starting soft and low. A single patient heartbeat that would help the spirit grow. It's a rhythm of redemption that the wicked cannot play, and a single little tap can chase the darkness clean away. So I'll play my drum for you now, and you'll play yours for me someday. They teach you not to trust the beat that's living in your chest. They tell you that the frantic pace is what will bring you rest. They want your hands to be so busy working for their plan. You have no time to be a meditative, conscious man. They fear the day the people stop and listen to the pulse and find a common rhythm that no army can repulse. But I can hear a silent drum. It's starting soft and low. The single patient heartbeat that will help the spirit grow. It's a rhythm of redemption that the wicked cannot play, and a single little tap can chase the darkness clean away. So I'll play my drum for you now, and you'll play yours someday. So find a quiet moment and hush the world outside. There is a sacred rhythm where your truest self does hide. And when you find that beat, don't keep it locked away inside. Let it be your teacher, let it be your holy guide. One beat, one heart, a brand new start. The drum is sounding, love is abounding. Listen, can you hear it now? Look close, the reflection tells a lie. Time for some reasoning. Babylon built a house for I with walls of polished glass. So everywhere I turn, I see a stranger looking past. He shows me a reflection of a man I'm meant to be, full of fear and full of want, but that man is not me. He tells me that this surface is the only truth to trust, and to polish it with vanity before it turns to dust. But I'm having a cracked glass reasoning. I'm looking past the shine. I see the lights of worry that are his and are not mine. The image that he sells me is a beautiful deceit, but the feeling in my soul is something he can never be. So I'm looking through the cracks now to the truth that lies behind, and the little beam of Jaja light is all I hope to find. I used to see my brother and just see his cracked glass too. I judge him by the image that the system showed me through. We were two reflections fighting misery, forgetting that the real I and I was struggling to be free. But when you stop believing that the surface is the man, you start to see your brother with a brand new loving plan. And we're having a cracked glass reasoning, we're looking past the shine. You see the lines of worry that are his and are not mine. The image that he sells us is a beautiful deceit, but the feeling in our souls is something he can never be. So we're looking through the cracks now, to the truth that lies behind, and the universe of Jaja light is what we're gonna find. So don't you waste your precious time just polishing a lie. The glass was made to be broken so your spirit can fly high. Just one little tap of truth, just one honest point of view, is all it takes to break the glass and let the real you through. Breaking through, me and you, to a feeling fresh and new. No more reflection, a true connection. Yes, it flows, but where does it flow? Jah know, for the sufferer down below. There's a river that runs through this town of pain. One side is for the sunshine, the other for the acid rain. On the high side, the water is cool and crystal clear. It fills the swimming pools of the men who sell us fear. But the same river flows down to the gully where we stay, and it carries all the poison from their good life far away. It's a two-sided river, a wicked, cruel design. Their side gets the blessing, and the sickness is all mine. Mr. Trickster tells me I must wait upon the tide, while his children drink the clean water right by his side. But our spirit is a wellspring that them can never own, and from this thirsty, dusty ground a new seed will be grown. They pipe the dirty water right into my people's homes and call it development from their temporary thrones. They wash their hands of wickedness in the clean part of the stream, then come down to the gully just to sell a foolish dream. They promise us a filter, they promise us a cure, but the only thing they give the poor is more things to endure. It's a two-sided river, a wicked, cruel design. Their side gets the blessing, and the sickness is all mine. Mr. Trickster tells me I must wait upon the tide, while his children drink the clean water right by his side. But our spirit is a wellspring that them can never own, and from this thirsty, dusty ground a new seed will be grown. But the rain that's coming is a different kind of rain. It's a storm of righteous reasoning to wash away the stain. It will make the river overflow and tear the banks all down. And there will be one water for the whole of this here town. One river, one water, for every son and daughter. No more two sides, Jah provides, wash it clean. Some things, when they break, they can't be fixed, but not us. Jah know. I came to you with a heart like a clay pot, you see, that had fallen from a high shelf of some past misery. It was in 100 pieces, scattered on the floor, and I thought that it could never hold no water anymore. I was sweeping up the dust, ready to throw it all away, until you knelt down on the ground and told me, wait, just wait. And you mended this broken pot with a patient, loving hand. You used a glue of golden truth so I could understand that the cracks are not a weakness, they're a story to be told, a map of every lesson that has helped to shape my soul. And this mended pot, it holds a love more precious than pure gold. Sometimes the pressure drops so hard, a new crack starts to show, from a wicked word that's spoken, or a seed of doubt we sow. But we don't run and hide now, we don't throw it all aside. We have the golden mixture, and we have nothing to hide. We trace the line together with a tenderness and grace, and put another line of love back in its rightful place. 'Cause you mended this broken pot with a patient, loving hand. You used the glue of golden truth so I could understand that the cracks are not a weakness, they're a story to be told, a map of every lesson that has helped to shape my soul. And it's mended pot, it holds a love more precious than pure gold. Babylon sells a love that's shiny, perfect and so new, but that kind of love will shatter when the first storm passes through. Our love is not a showroom piece, it's weathered and it's real, and the beauty in the breaking is the deepest thing I feel. Stronger now at the broken places, see the beautiful traces of me and you. Yeah. What you have inside Every night when I sleep, the down presser man him creep. And so a little wicked see, while my consciousness is deep. I see the doubt, see the fear, a seed of me instead of we. A seed of judging what I hear instead of what I truly see. And when the morning sun arrives, the weeds are growing tall, trying to choke the flowers and to make the spirit small. So I must tend my mind garden with a patient loving hand, and pull the roots of prejudice out from this holy land. I water it with reasoning and give it light and space, and make the flower of oneness grow with beauty and with grace. This is a daily liberty, a sacred space. The weed of envy, it grows fast with a bitter, thorny leaf. The weed of anger from the past, it brings a world of grief. Babylon wants a garden full of poison and a spite, where every plant is fighting for a single ray of light. But my garden will be Adil, a paradise to share. The fruits of overstanding for all the world to bear. So I must tend my mind garden with a patient loving hand, and pull the roots of prejudice out from this holy land. I water it with reasoning and give it light and space, and make the flower of oneness grow with beauty and with grace. This is a daily liberty, to keep a sacred space. So brother, check your garden, and sister, check yours too. What are the thoughts and feelings that are growing inside you? We have the power to decide what we will help to grow. A forest of redemption from a single seed, you know. Growing, growing. One love is what we're sowing in the mind garden. No more hardening, just life. The mountain now move, ya know. The wicked breeze of propaganda, it blows from east to west. It tries to steal the quiet from a peaceful, loving breast. The hurricane of lies, it comes with that destructive sound, to uproot every good thing from this holy, sacred ground. Boracic rain of the no sit. Take at 5 a warring nose to me. But I have a mountain soul. I will not bend, no pray. I'll stand against the weather for my brother's holy sake. Let the down pressers wind just blow. Let it rage and rant and rage. My roots are in a nation's store, a truth the judge I gave. And in my shadow, a little seed of hope will find its way and be saved. The boy let him get angry cause him cannot move, I and I. He pushes and he shoves and he darkens up the sky. He builds his house of glass and steel that looks so big and tall. But one good shake of truth will come and make the whole thing fall. My strength is not in fighting back, it's in the peace I hold. A story of endurance that is centuries untold. 'Cause I have a mountain soul. I will not bend or break. I'll stand against the weather for my sister's holy sake. Let the down-pressers wind just blow. Let him rage and rant and rave. My roots are in an ancient stone, a truth that Jah gave. And in my shadow, a little seed of hope will find its grave. Be safe and be safe. So when you feel the world is shaking and you're about to flee, come and take your shelter in the lee of I and I. You see, for a mountain is not one stone, but a billion in one place. A mighty congregation of time and solid space. Still standing, unaffected, Jah protected, a mountain soul, taking control. Sometimes we lose the beat, but the bass line of the heart is always there. When I and I are in the flow, the rhythm is so sweet. The bass line of your heart provides the perfect steady beat. My soul can skank upon your vibe, no hesitation there. We're in a one-drop harmony beyond any compare. The melody is easy and the words are true and clear. It's a love yet vibration that banishes all fear. Sometimes we lose the rhythm and the snare drum comes in wrong. A sour note of anger just goes on and on for too long. The hi-hat of the patience gets lost within the haze, and we are two sound boys fighting in the dissonant malaise. But I will wait for you, my love, to find the one drop's grace. Spoken sharp and fast like a cymbal crash, so loud it hangs there in the silence like a dark and heavy cloud. The horns of pride are blowing and they're playing out of key, a sad and lonely melody for all the world to see. And Babylon is laughing 'cause he loves to see the strife that can cut a perfect harmony that called the wicked night. Sometimes we lose the rhythm and the snare drum comes in wrong. A sour note of anger just goes on and on for too long. The hi-hat of the patience gets lost within the haze. We are two sound boys fighting in a dissonant malaise. But I will wait for you, my love, to find the one drop's grace. So let us strip the song right down to just the drum and bass. just a fundamental heartbeat in this sacred time and space. Let's find the pocket of the groove where we first felt the spark, and let the rhythm of our love reunite here in the dark. One drop, find the one drop. The love will never stop. One rhythm for you and me, eternally, yeah. Them give you a map, but where does it lead? Time to find your own direction. Babylon, draw a paper map with roads of hurry and of greed, and tell I and I, this is the only journey that you need. A straight line to a false treasure, a race to a plastic throne. It make you feel so crowded, yet you feel so all alone. Them signs are full of promises, but the writing is a lie, designed to keep you looking down and never at the sky. But I and not I have a soul compass. The needle is my heart. It spins away from wickedness right from the very start. North point to the north, my friend. It points to what is true. It guides me through the concrete maze in everything I do. And the only magnetic pull is the love for I and you. When the fog of their confusion tries to make my vision dim, and the voices of the system sing a sad and hopeless hymn, I don't look to their signpost, I don't listen to their news. I just get quiet for a moment and let my spirit choose. It's a vibration deep inside, a steady airy hum that tells me where I need to go for my soul to overcome. 'Cause I have a soul compass. The needle is my heart. It spins away from wickedness right from the very start. Tensun Doi Bujan North, my friend. It points to what is true. It guides me through the concrete maze in everything I do. And the only magnetic pull is the love for I and you. So throw away that paper map, let it burn up in the fire. Your destination is a state of mind, so let it take you higher. Trust the feeling in your soul, it's the truest guide you'll find. A compass for the righteous and the pure and loving kind. Trotting on my own direction, a soul connection. Jah is the destination for every nation. Yeah. My brother, I see you, and I wait. heart, like two seeds from one pot, sharing the same sunshine from the loving hand of Jah. Our roots grew down together, a tangled holy mess. We promised we would always share our sorrow and success. But lately I can see your leaves are turning yellow-brown, since you started taking water from the other side of town. And it's a gardener's dilemma, a pain deep in my soul, to watch you water your own roots with what will make you grow. My words of truth and reasoning, they fall like acid rain. So I just have to tend my soil and try to bear the pain, and wait for you to thirst, is to build a thirst for what is real and pure again. Babylonim, offer water that is sweet upon the tongue, a shortcut to a feeling of being forever young. But it's a poison to the spirit, a blight upon the root. It makes a bitter harvest of a sport and rotten fruit. I see you drinking deeply, forgetting about the foundation that we built up for a while. And it's a gardener's dilemma, a pain deep in my soul, to watch you water your own roots with what will make you cold. My words of truth and reasoning, they fall like acid rain. So I just have to tend my soil and try to bear the pain. I cannot pull your weeds for you, I cannot make you see that what you think is freedom is a new captivity. But I will keep my own roots strong and my own water clean, and be a living testament of what we could have been and still can be. I'll be your brother through any weather, when you're ready, when you're ready to go. You will not be alone, one root. Like rain on a tin roof. The wind is blowing hard, but it's a down pressure's wind. Time to rise. Whoa, whoa. The sky above the gate of gray, a storm of bad intention that never goes away. The thunder is the blue scene beast, the lightning is the flashing lights as them circle round and around. This is not Jah's weather, this is not a natural breeze. This is a storm designed to bring a strong man to his knees. But we are the kites in the storm, made of paper and a string. And in this wicked whipping wind, we're learning how to sing. The harder that the pressure blows, the higher we will fly, catching on a righteous wind from the corner of the sky. They think the storm will break us, but it only lifts us high. They see a youth man on the corner, and they see a kite that's tangled. A problem to be brought down low, to be broken and manhandled. They tried to cut the string of hope with a blade of pure disdain, and leave another fallen soul face down in the rain. But they can't see the spirit thread, it's stronger than their steel. The vibration of a people whose reality is real. 'Cause we are the kites in the storm, made of paper and a string. And in this wicked whipping wind, we're learning how to sing. The harder that the pressure blows, the higher we will fly, catching on a righteous wind from the corner of the sky. They think the storm will break us, but it only lifts us high. And when we all rise up as one, a thousand kites so bright, we'll turn the grayest, darkest sky into a sea of light. A single string is weak and thin, but together we are bound to change the very weather and to shake the wicked ground. Bringing Babylon to its knees. Every thread tells a story, even the broken one. Babylon come with a scissor, sharp and cold and keen, to cut the thread of unity and spoil the lovely scene. He tangles up the loom of hope with a pattern of despair, and weaves a cloth of ignorance for all the world to wear. He wants a quick but no beauty, and no grace, a shroud of pure confusion for the whole of the human race. But I am a patient weaver at a loom of my own choice. I'm weaving with the colors that I hear in my soul's voice. Every knot I tie is a promise that I will not run. I'm weaving a new morning underneath the rising sun. And this work of liberation has only just begun. Sometimes a thread of sorrow, it gets woven in the mix, and I have to stop my work a while, the broken parts to fix. Sometimes my hands get tired and the pattern goes astray, but I just take a deep breath for the coming of the day. I will not throw the work away because of one mistake, or weave it in the story for authenticity's sake. 'Cause I am a patient weaver at a loom of my own choice. I'm weaving with the colors that I hear in my soul's voice. Every knot I tie is a promise that I will not run. I'm weaving a new morning underneath the rising sun, and this alert has only just begun. So bring your thread, my brother, of a deep and righteous blue. And sister, bring your golden one, so vibrant and so new. If every one of us will weave a single honest line, we'll make a blanket of redemption, a truly grand design, weaving on, strong and long, a new day song, one thread at a time, a mission so sublime, weaving on. Just sleeping, ya know. There was a time this love of ours was a raging wildfire, a beacon on the hillside, taking higher and higher up higher. But a careless breeze of pride and the cold and lonely rain left the silence in the ashes and a memory of pain. We've been seeing in the twilight, afraid to feel the cold, forgetting about the story that the embers still do hold. But these embers still are glowing, it will marry of the most. It not need no big explosion, no lightning from the sky, just a patient, gentle breathing, gentle breathing from your soul and from mine, to whisper this here fire back to life before it dies. I see it on these days, and that's like a firework so bright. It flashes for a moment, then it disappears in night. They teach that when the flame is low, you throw the log away and look for a new fire to burn another day. But the truest warmth is in the cold, it's weathered every storm, and knows the secret of the way to keep a spirit warm. Cause these embers still are glowing, a memory of the most. It not need no big explosion, no lightning from the sky, just a patient, gentle breathing from your soul and from mine, to whisper this your fire back to life before it dies. A little glow, watch it grow, slow and steady. I'm ready, are you ready? For the fire